Hey, what's up guys? Rev here. So over the past week or two, the social media cinematic universe has really put its focus on certain topics that we have covered ad nauseum on this channel. That includes the topics of LoIi, LoLiCon, LoLi VTubers, and everything related to that. Now, social media has had a traditionally horrible view of these things, and they're very well talked about, okay? It's a very ongoing conversation that's always taking place. But over the past 2 weeks, the harassment campaigns and the ignorance surrounding these subjects on social media has been so bad that even people like me are a little bit shocked, okay? And it comes as zero surprise that someone like me or other VTubers or even someone like Hero Hey would talk about the ignorance and harassment that has been surrounding these subjects over the past 2 weeks, in particular the harassment of LoLi VTubers and alike. However, it is surprising when someone who is not traditionally attached to these topics speaks out about it. In fact, things have gotten so bad, 2 large content creators have weighed in with their takes relating to LoLi, LoLiCon, and LoLi VTubers. That includes Moistcritikal and Miskif. Now, they're going to share what are somehow both lukewarm but blazing hot takes, because it is extremely difficult to find any large content creator who is at least a little bit separated from VTubing and anime to have any sort of a rational opinion involving these topics. And I think it's definitely worth exploring today, looking at what they had to say about these topics. So in case you guys didn't know, Charlie has a weekly podcast that he uploads onto YouTube. Now, buried deep in the catacombs of this podcast, they have a discussion about the LoLi VTuber named Rune, who is someone we have talked about recently on this channel. Now, seeing these people, including Charlie, talking about Rune has been, it's one of the strangest events in the YouTube multiverse, okay? It's very strange to see, but a very welcomed surprise. So, in case you didn't know, Rune recently made a video on Twitter. It's about a little over a minute long, and she basically discusses the topic of LoLi VTubers, their role in the history of VTubing, and their role currently, and how basically they're an ingrained part of this community, and that they should just be left alone, and people trying to oust them are wrong. Now, I would play the clip from the podcast of them watching the video, but basically it's the 3 other members outside of Charlie snickering and laughing at her the whole time because, you know, they couldn't get over the fact that she's a LoLi VTuber and has a rat-themed model, but it was just kind of annoying. So I think it's important because we didn't watch her full clip the last time we talked about her, so I think we're going to sit and spend a little over a minute watching this clip because she raises some excellent points.
So, newsflash to everyone who thinks this way. Lolis have been an integral part of anime culture and by extension, VTuber culture since the very beginning. The biggest VTuber in the entire world is both a LoLi and a LoLiCon herself. Several Hololive members and Nijisandi members are LoLiCons and Shotacons. You came into our space, not the other way around. And you don't have to like LoLi content. You don't have to like the LoLi tubers. You can think it's weird. You can think it's gross. You can think whatever you want. But you can't kick us out. You can't make us leave. We were here first. This was our space that you decided to come into. So if you have such a problem with it, if you can't stand to share a space with us, you can leave. You can be the one to go. And I don't want to hear any ifs or buts about it.
Also, in case it wasn't obvious, that clip that she posted on Twitter came with a whole lot of controversy. It has millions of views and there's a ton of support, but obviously you're not surprised when I say it has a ton of criticism. She is being called a pedophile over that take, and she's been receiving death threats and just general harassment, and she's been taking it like a champ, the best you can. But let's hear what the podcast has to say about that clip that we just watched.
And I don't want to hear any ifs or buts about it.
So this is
Actually,
She sounds so pissy, which makes me smile so hard. She's like actually upset at somebody suggesting to, cool it with the LoIi shit a little.
She is right, though. I mean, like, lollies have been there since the beginning, so it's not like you're gonna kick lollies out of the community. It would just be on that person to leave. What do you mean, why not?
Hey, it's honest.
Why would you want to be in a community?
Lollies have been an integral part of anime culture forever. Yeah, true. Fact check correct. At least
but
somebody
like,
inside
that's not
from
the
inside
argument,
says
right?
it
We're
now.
not. People aren't saying, hey, historically, lolicons are in the community. They're saying they shouldn't be in the community.
I don't really see how there's any difference there. So I don't know if a lot of these people involved here are really aware of how far all of this goes. It's not just like people going, oh, I think lolicon's weird, or oh, I think lolli VTubers are weird, which is totally valid to feel. People are being threatened, doxxed, sent death threats, called pedophiles over all of this stuff. The amount of ignorance that surrounds this subject is unbelievable. I could ask 99% of the people who are offended by these things, just ask them what the definition of lolli is, and they wouldn't know. 99% of them would not know what the definition of lolli is, and yet they're so comfortable saying that they should be, anyone who has lolli models or lolicons, they should be ousted from VTubers and the related communities. And it's absolutely insane. And it's not just, oh, it's not their thing and they're uncomfortable. No, they're trying to remove people who have every right to be there. LoLi and lolicon has been a part of the VTubing scene since its inception. And yes, people on Twitter claim that it's not, when it very clearly is. Like, Charlie's 100% right, and it's great to see someone raise that point, because people will deny, and just bury their head in the sand and pretend like things that happened didn't happen. Like, there are LoLi VTubers who are very successful. There's LoLi VTubers who were there at the start of the VTubing scene, and they're not going anywhere, and why should they? People say, why not? Why not get rid of them? Why do you want to get rid of them? There's a big open world out there, not just of VTubers, but content in general. If you don't like this stuff, just avoid it. I don't understand what the problem is. It just baffles me.
Lolicon shouldn't be acceptable.
Well, yeah, but she's
and
not
this is her
wrong.
response to it.
They have the community had lolicons in it, or lollies, whatever, in it way before these, like, it took off in the Western. So these people coming in, they're like, okay, now let's get rid of lollies. Like, it's not gonna happen. It's just not.
Well, yeah, I'm not talking about like the Eastern audience or the Japanese anime audience. I think that's ingrained in Japanese culture itself. Like, yeah, that's prevalent. But in like it being exported over to like Western anime audiences and stuff like that, why is it acceptable over here?
I mean, you just don't have to watch. Like, there's other VTubers that aren't lollies. Like, she just, instead of trying to kick them out, just go to a different one, because it's not going to change anything. She's not wrong.
The silence is deafening. I have to give Charlie, like, extra credit here. Like, yes, what he's saying is great. I appreciate it, but I really appreciate it because he's surrounded by people who clearly have a problem with this stuff. And it would be very easy to go with the flow and just sit there and either A, say nothing and let them have their moment for a couple of minutes and then move on to the next subject. But he spoke out and said things that are entirely valid and true. And it's crazy to me that takes like what Charlie are saying are controversial. They're just facts. LoLi VTubers and lolicon has been a part of the VTubing scene forever. And if you don't want to watch that stuff, there's plenty of other content, including VTubers out there. Like, we always point to like Gargura as like the peak. Like, look at a LoLi VTuber with millions of subs. She's the biggest VTuber in the world, and she's a LoLi, and she's very presumably a lolicon based on some of her behavior online. Okay? People point to that as like, oh, LoLi VTubers are dominating. But, is great and is a big of a part of the community as LoLi VTubers are, there is an immense amount of VTubers that are not lollies, okay? Like, if you can't find a VTuber that's not a lolli or a lolicon or a Shotokan, which no one cares about Shotokan apparently, or Shota VTubers, but if you can't find anything that's outside of those, you are, like, blind. You clearly just aren't looking. Like, it's that easy to just find something else that you don't find so appalling and weird.
It's
There's
fighting.
a
It's
wrong
fighting.
that.
It's fighting a losing battle. Like
It
it's
It is, yeah. These
feels
people are
like we're
shameless.
just
You're not going to like shame them.
that action though is like it feels like you're turning a blind eye to it almost.
Turning a blind eye to what? Is this actually a problem? Like, also, 2 minutes ago saying it's a part of Japanese culture. So are you saying there's something like insidious about Japanese culture? It's a little weird. It's starting to feel a little weird. And turning a blind eye, like, take Charlie's advice, take my advice. If you want to turn a blind eye, well, we're talking about turning a blind eye. Why don't you turn a blind eye to this content you don't like? Let it exist. It's not going anywhere. This stuff is been a part of the VTubing scene. It's going to continue being a part of the VTubing scene. And no matter how many people are harassed or attacked or how much misinformation is spread about these topics, LoIi VTubers and the related things are going to stay. And that's just the way it is. And when people finally accept that, maybe we can have some peace in the world, okay? Like, people just watch the content they enjoy and not worry about the stuff that makes them upset. Like, I don't understand why you would waste any time worrying about these LoIi VTubers who haven't done anything wrong in the first place.
Not you specifically, but just people in general. I feel like if you want the community to be taken seriously or like actually, I don't know, somewhere nice to exist in, it should be devoid of lolicon and what's the other one? Lolicon and
Shotokan.
Yeah, I feel like you should be aiming to like eliminate the acceptance of that, or at least the like I don't know, blind
They're
eye.
into it. So you have to understand that their sexual attraction is inseparable from this thing. Look at this comment. Liking lollies is okay. Sexualizing them is skull emoji. That should be the be all end all statement. And Rune replies saying, nope.
That's all you need to say.
It's not even such a controversial statement, but still the guy has to go out of his way to say liking lollies is okay. Like, why? Why do grown men have to sit down and watch like 4-year-olds in a...
Like, again, obviously this person thinks lolly means age, which it's not. It's a body type. It's just a short or petite body type from anime and manga and the related genres and mediums. And I don't understand, like, the whole thing, like, why do you need LoLi VTubers? Why do you need LoLi characters? Why do you need anything? Why do you need a podcast? Why do I need to make this video? Why do we need to watch YouTube videos? Why do we need to like this? Why do we need to like that? It just, people like it. So what? That doesn't mean it's bad. You don't have to justify anything. You're not hurting anyone by watching these LoLi VTubers or anything related to it. It might be weird to some. That's fine. Then don't watch it. Like, I don't understand. It is ridiculous that people have to justify their interest in something that is completely harmless and is not affecting you in any sort of a way. It is ridiculous that people have to explain themselves like that.
slice of life anime.
Yeah, it's so weird and gross.
Okay.
I feel like it gives. You guys should be fighting harder for it, you anime fans, honestly, because I feel like it like gives the wrong image of what anime fans are like, or what anime is like.
Dude,
What are they like? What are they like? What is the impression being given off by thinking LoLi VTubers can do what they want? But circling back, I kind of forgot to address one of the other points. Like, they should do something about these LoLi VTubers, or like clean up their act if they want to be taken seriously. It's odd to me, like what Rune said, all of the points that she raised, it was very well spoken, it was well thought out, and it was a really good conversation, but you were snickering and laughing the whole time because you didn't want to take her seriously. Like, based on what? It's a character. She just has a VTuber model. Like, that's it? Like, that's what like breaks your universe. Now you can't take her seriously, you can't listen without laughing. And like, why do they need to be taken seriously based on their appearance or what they're interested in? Like, her words are valid whether she's using a LoLi VTuber or not. I don't get it. It's a very strange take, but you guys get the point with this one. It's pretty much Twitter having a conversation, and Charlie's there having some rational takes, and you'll love to see it, but there's more to see, as I hinted at earlier in this video. So like I said earlier, Miskif actually made some comments on the topic of LoLi and lolicon as well, and he was actually doing it while reacting to some of the Moistcritikal and Sneeko drama. And if you don't know, I had a video a few days ago explaining their beef a little bit. But one of the focuses and main criticisms of Sneeko is that he is a weirdo for watching cuties. Now, if you don't know the Netflix film, it's very disturbing. It features real-life underage kids in sexual situations for a twerking competition. It is, by most people's definition, including mine, it is CP. It is sexually exploiting children, and it's a disgusting film. But Sneeko loves it. Sneeko loves that film. He said it's one of his favorites of all time. So, yeah, very validly, people like Charlie have called him out. But Miskif is reacting to that whole set of drama, and he gets onto the topic of lolicon.
But yeah, that's weird.
With his cuckoldry and how...
What about anime then? Listen, that shit's fucking weird. Alright? The lolly crap. I hate that shit. I think that shit's so fucking weird.
Fair enough.
But you cannot compare an anime woman that's not real to a real life person. You can't do it, man. Okay? I'm sorry. That is not the same thing. It is not even close. It's a real kid comparatively to a fucking drawing. What a difference. What a difference. What a stupid take to make. This woman was in a movie or this kid was in a movie that their parents probably made him do. You're talking about a fucking character that's like, it's just completely different. It's still weird. I think it's still fucking weird as hell, right? But yeah, what a difference.
So yeah, that is a very lukewarm, but somehow still a hot take to say that, yes, anime stuff is different from real life children being abused. It is completely and utterly valid to think these things are weird. Go off. You think that's weird? Of course, fine. It is a fetish, after all. It's like people are like, do you talk to your coworkers about the fact that you're a lolicon? Would these people do that? That's the sign it's weird. You know what's weird? Talking to your coworkers about your porn fetishes. That's weird. So it's perfectly fine to think these things are weird. And to compare that to actual children being abused in a film like Cuties is ridiculous. And as I close out this video, it's pretty much self-explanatory with Miskif's opinion here. When we look at what Charlie and Miskif said, so what did they say? LoIi Vtubers have been a part of the community in the VTubing scene since its inception, and if you don't like it, watch something else. And then Miskif saying that lolicon should not be held to the same level as real children being abused. Those are very lukewarm takes that are somehow brave, because they're the same takes I've been making for years. And you know, does it feel a little bit validating to hear people like this say those things? Yeah, because for years I've been harassed, sent death threats, called a pedophile over these things. And they're the most lukewarm takes ever. And hopefully we're maybe at a tipping point where people are going to start having more rational views of these things and have a more honest and real conversation about these things, instead of allowing their feelings of something's icky and weird. Now we should ban it, get rid of it, and harass people over it. And let's have a real conversation and identify that, yes, it's weird, but it's not child porn. It's not the same as a real life kid being abused. It's harmless. That's hopefully something that's on the horizon, and more bigger content creators who aren't typically talking about these topics will weigh in with valid takes like this. So I really wanted to share this with you guys, and I hope you enjoyed it. Please let me know all your thoughts about today's video in the comments section down below. Hope you guys enjoyed, and all the related links are in the description. So hope you enjoyed the video, everyone, and I'll see you next time.